We know that there is a clear difference between the national character of democracies and the national character of dictatorships. In democracies in Europe and America, people dare to express their opinions, dare to stand up to their superiors or governments, and people follow the rules rather than resorting to backdoor methods. In African dictatorships, on the contrary, people do not dare to express their opinions, nor do they dare to stand up to their superiors or governments, and people resort to backdoor methods rather than following the rules. Obviously, it is the system that determines the national character. Since the system determines the national character, does it mean that as long as the system changes, the national character will change rapidly? Some scholars have studied some immigrant groups in the United States. These immigrants came from countries where dictatorships had lasted for more than hundreds of years. Studies show that these immigrants had retained the character of dictatorships for life. Even their descendants, more or less, retained the character of dictatorships. It is strange. The descendants of these immigrants were all born in the United States and had never lived in dictatorships. Why did they still retain the character of dictatorships? I will answer this question using the example of wolves and dogs. We know that dogs are descended from wolves. However, nowadays, there is a clear difference between the character of wolves and the character of dogs. Wolves are disobedient to people and are very aggressive. Dogs, on the contrary, are obedient to people and are not very aggressive. Why is there such a big difference in the characters of the same type of animal? This is the result of domestication by humans. The so-called domestication is actually artificial selection. Humans chose obedient wolves and eliminated disobedient wolves. After thousands of years of artificial selection, wolves gradually turned into dogs. Nowadays, there is a clear difference between the genes of wolves and the genes of dogs. The genes of dogs determine that dogs are obedient to people, and the genes of wolves determine that wolves are disobedient to people. Will dogs turn back into wolves? Yes, they will. But in order to turn dogs back into wolves, humans must place dogs in the environment where they originally lived. That is, the environment in which wolves live. In such an environment, most dogs cannot adapt to the environment and die quickly. Only a small number of adaptable dogs will survive. It is actually natural selection, which is the opposite of artificial selection. The result of natural selection is that the dogs that can survive will eventually turn back into wolves.